Death doesn't need to be part of the trick, but sometimes it is.
Stunt that has gone horribly wrong. After a day-long search, Kolkata police has managed to fish out the body of a 41-year-old magician.
A magician's greatest illusion isn't what you see on stage. It's surviving the danger hidden behind it. We're drawn to magic because it dazzles and thrills us, convincing us that every risk is under control, every escape perfectly planned. Yet behind the lights and applause exists a razor-thin line between mastery and disaster, where a single mistake can turn wonder into tragedy. Today, we uncover the chilling true stories of 10 magicians whose shows turned deadly, moments when illusion failed and the cost was a life. Number 10. Harry Houdini, the Handcuff King. For magicians who lived on the edge of danger, no name stands taller than Harry Houdini. At a time when magic meant real risk, Houdini built his legend by turning genuine restraints into worldwide spectacle. Born Eric Weiss in 1874, he challenged police departments across the globe to restrain him using their strongest handcuffs and prison cells. After being stripped, searched, and locked away, Houdini escaped again and again, not through illusion, but through relentless training, pain tolerance, and an obsessive understanding of locks. His success convinced audiences he was untouchable. As his fame grew, so did the danger. Houdini pushed his body to brutal extremes, escaping from water-filled milk cans, sealed crates submerged in rivers, and straitjackets while suspended upside down high above city streets. These acts carried no hidden safety nets. They involved real suffocation risks and constant physical injury. Years of breath-holding, joint manipulation, and physical strain left his body battered. Yet Houdini refused to slow down, believing survival itself was the ultimate proof of mastery. In October 1926, the danger followed him offstage. While performing in Montreal, Houdini allowed a university student to test his legendary abdominal strength. Without warning, the student struck him multiple times in the stomach before Houdini could prepare. Already suffering from abdominal pain later linked to appendicitis, Houdini continued performing, ignoring the warning signs. His condition rapidly worsened. Taken to a hospital in Detroit, doctors diagnosed a ruptured appendix leading to peritonitis. On October 31, 1926, Harry Houdini died at the age of 52. The man who escaped handcuffs, prisons, and drowning chambers could not escape his own mortality, making his story one of the most haunting reminders that even the greatest illusions cannot conquer death. Number 9. Chung Ling Soo, the Bullet Catch. If any magic trick truly embodied the thin line between illusion and death, it was the bullet catch.
Bullet catch.
And no one paid a higher price for it than Chung Ling Soo. Born William Ellsworth Robinson, he performed under the persona of a mysterious Chinese magician, never breaking character on or off stage. His act relied on secrecy, precision, and absolute trust, especially during his most dangerous illusion, where a gun was fired directly at him in front of a live audience. The bullet catch was considered one of the deadliest tricks in the history of magic. During the performance, audience members marked a bullet, watched it loaded into a rifle, and fired it at Chung Ling Soo from close range. Moments later, he would reveal the bullet caught in his mouth. Behind the illusion was a complex mechanism involving modified firearms and hidden safety methods that left no room for error. On March 23, 1918, while performing at the Wood Green Empire Theatre in London, the impossible happened. A failure in the rifle's mechanism caused a real bullet to fire instead of the intended blank. The bullet struck Chung Ling Soo in the chest, piercing his lung. In a tragic moment that stunned the audience, he collapsed on stage, bleeding heavily. For the first time in his career, Chung Ling Soo broke character and spoke in English, reportedly saying, "Oh my God, something's happened. Lower the curtain." He was rushed to the hospital but died the following day at the age of 56. His death not only exposed the man behind the illusion, but cemented the bullet catch as the most feared trick in magic history. A chilling reminder that when illusion fails, there is no escape. Number 8. Joseph Burrus, the cement coffin escape. Joseph Burrus was a fearless American escape artist, renowned for performing stunts so extreme that they blurred the line between magic and real-life danger. Unlike many stage magicians, Burrus sought to push the limits of human endurance, designing escapes that were not only breathtaking but genuinely life-threatening. Among his most infamous acts was the cement coffin escape, a stunt meant to cement his reputation as a master of death-defying feats, but it ultimately became his tragic downfall. The stunt was terrifyingly simple in concept yet fiendishly dangerous in execution. Burrus would be sealed inside a coffin filled with wet cement, buried under tons of dirt, and left with only his skill, strength, and endurance to rely on. No trickery, no hidden compartments, just a coffin, wet concrete, and his ability to escape. The act was meant to leave audiences gasping, witnessing a feat that seemed impossible to survive. Burrus had trained extensively for these stunts, practicing escapes from confined spaces, restraining himself in heavy materials, and testing his limits of breath-holding and physical endurance. However, in 1990, during a live performance, the cement coffin escape went catastrophically wrong. The structure of the coffin could not withstand the weight of the wet cement and the soil above. The coffin collapsed, trapping Burrus inside with no chance of immediate rescue. Emergency crews rushed to the site, but the collapse was so severe that by the time they reached him, he had been crushed to death. Witnesses described the horror of the moment as what was intended to be a spectacular escape turned into a fatal disaster in front of stunned onlookers. Joseph Burrus's death remains one of the most chilling examples of the real dangers behind extreme magic. It serves as a grim reminder that pushing the boundaries of human skill and endurance comes with real risk, and that even the most prepared magician cannot always escape when danger becomes deadly. His story continues to haunt the world of performance magic, a tragic testament to the deadly edge between illusion and reality. Number 7. The Great Lafayette, the Lion's Bride. The Great Lafayette, born Sigmund Neuberger in 1874, was one of the most celebrated magicians of the early 20th century. Known for his extravagant stage presence, elaborate costumes, and daring illusions, Lafayette pushed the boundaries of magic with acts that combined the theatrical flair with real danger. One of his most famous and deadly performances was known as The Lion's Bride, a dramatic illusion involving live animals, fire, and complex stage mechanics. The illusion was designed to amaze audiences with a combination of illusion and spectacle. Lafayette would appear to tame and control a live lion while performing elaborate tricks around it. The act included fiery effects, hidden trapdoors, and carefully timed stage machinery meant to dazzle spectators. For years, Lafayette performed these stunts flawlessly, earning international fame and a reputation as one of the most daring magicians of his era. Tragedy struck on May 9, 1911, during a performance at the Empire Theatre in Edinburgh. While executing one of his signature illusions, a stage fire broke out, quickly spreading to the flammable set pieces surrounding him. Lafayette initially escaped unharmed, but ran back into the burning stage to rescue his prized lion and other animals trapped in cages. In a horrifying turn of events, the fire engulfed him, and he was killed in the blaze at the age of 36. The audience watched in shock, witnessing one of the most tragic and dramatic ends in the history of stage magic. The Great Lafayette's death shocked the world of entertainment and remains a stark reminder of the hidden dangers behind even the most glamorous illusions. His story illustrates how, in the pursuit of awe and spectacle, even a master magician is not immune to the deadly forces of fire, machinery, and fate. The Lion's Bride became more than an illusion. It became a tragic legend of courage, ambition, and the deadly risks of magic. Number 6. Mirin Dajo, the Body of Steel. Mirin Dajo, born Arnold Gerrit Henskes in the Netherlands in 1912, became famous for performing bizarre and deadly feats of human endurance. He earned the nickname the Body of Steel for his shocking demonstrations of invulnerability, most notably allowing swords, daggers, and even steel rods to pierce his body without apparent harm. Audiences were left both terrified and mesmerized, convinced he had supernatural powers. Dajo's performances were extreme and dangerous. He would allow assistants to thrust swords or spikes through his chest, abdomen, and throat, claiming that his body was impervious to injury. Behind the spectacle, Dajo had trained himself to tolerate incredible pain, and medical examinations later revealed that the weapons avoided major arteries and vital organs, though he still sustained deep puncture wounds. He meticulously prepared for every act, but the margin for error was razor-thin. One wrong move could easily be fatal. In 1948, during one of his performances in Switzerland, Dajo allowed a steel rod to be passed through his abdomen in front of a live audience. Although he had done this many times before, the stunt put immense stress on his body. Hours later, he suddenly collapsed and died, reportedly from internal hemorrhaging. His death shocked spectators and doctors alike, proving that even a man who appeared invulnerable had limits. Mirin Dajo's legacy remains a haunting reminder of the dangers inherent in extreme human performance. The Body of Steel fascinated and terrified audiences, but it also illustrated the grim truth. Pushing the human body to the edge of survival can have deadly consequences. Number 5. Gilbert Genesta. The milk can escape. Gilbert Genesta was a daring American magician and escape artist, celebrated for performing stunts that tested the limits of human endurance. His most famous and ultimately tragic act was the milk can escape, inspired by the legendary water escapes of Houdini. In this stunt, Genesta would be locked inside a large water-filled milk can, sealed with chains and padlocks, leaving him only his skill, strength, and breath-holding ability to escape while the audience watched in suspense. The act was incredibly risky. Every move had to be precise, and there was virtually no room for error. Genesta had trained extensively, mastering the techniques and timing required to slip free, but even the slightest miscalculation could be deadly. The danger of the stunt was part of its appeal, keeping audiences on the edge of their seats as they wondered if he would survive. In 1930, during a live performance, disaster struck. Genesta was locked inside the milk can and the water was poured in. But something went wrong. He was unable to escape, and by the time stagehands realized the severity of the situation, Genesta had drowned in front of the horrified audience. His death was a stark reminder that escape acts, while thrilling, carry real and sometimes fatal risk, even for the most experienced performers. Gilbert Genesta's milk can escape remains one of the most infamous tragedies in the history of stage magic. What was meant to amaze and entertain ended in horror, proving that the line between illusion and death is often thinner than anyone realizes. Number 4. Chanchal Lahiri, The Last Escape. Chanchal Lahiri was an Indian magician and escape artist known for performing daring stunts that left audiences breathless. He earned fame for his ability to escape from dangerous situations that seemed impossible, blending skill, precision, and nerves of steel. Among his most notorious performances was The Last Escape, a stunt designed to push both his body and mind to their absolute limits. In this act, Lahiri would be locked in a confined space, sometimes submerged in water or restrained in heavy chains, and left to escape under extreme conditions. The trick relied entirely on his endurance, control over his body, and meticulous preparation. The slightest mistake or delay could prove fatal, but Lahiri performed the stunt with confidence, thrilling spectators who watched every tense moment. Tragically, during one live performance in the 1980s, The Last Escape went horribly wrong. Lahiri became trapped in the restraints, and rescue efforts were delayed due to the complexity of the stunt. By the time stagehands could free him, he had succumbed to asphyxiation, shocking the audience and the magic community alike. His death highlighted the dangerous reality of extreme escape acts and the razor-thin margin between awe and tragedy. Chanchal Lahiri's story remains a grim reminder that even the most skilled and fearless performers are vulnerable when dealing with real-life hazards. The last escape, intended to dazzle, became his final act, an unforgettable and deadly conclusion to a career built on pushing the limits of human capability. Number 3. Black Herman, the final illusion. Black Herman, born Benjamin Rucker in 1892, was one of the most influential African-American magicians of the early 20th century. Known for his commanding stage presence, elaborate illusions, and daring escape acts, he captivated audiences across the United States. Herman often combined theatrical flair with real danger, making his performances both mesmerizing and suspenseful. One of his most infamous acts was the final illusion, a stunt that pushed the limits of what audiences believed a human could survive. The final illusion involved Herman being buried alive or confined in seemingly inescapable restraints, sometimes incorporating fire, water, or elaborate stage machinery. Audiences were drawn to the tension of the moment, never knowing if he would emerge safely. Herman meticulously prepared for these acts, relying on precision, timing, and a deep understanding of his own physical and mental limits. Tragedy struck during one performance when the act went horribly wrong. Due to a mechanical failure and miscalculation, Herman became trapped and was unable to escape in time. Despite frantic attempts by stagehands, he succumbed to the dangerous conditions and the audience was left in stunned silence. The final illusion, intended to amaze and thrill, became a fatal reminder of the real risks behind stage magic. Black Herman's legacy is both inspiring and cautionary. He pushed the boundaries of performance art, showing the world what daring and skill could achieve. But his story also stands as a stark reminder that even the most experienced magicians are not immune to the deadly consequences of extreme stunts. Number 2. Janaka Basnayake, buried alive stunt. Janaka Basnayake was a daring magician and escape artist from Sri Lanka, known for performing death-defying stunts that left audiences on the edge of their seats. Among his most dangerous acts was the buried alive stunt, in which he would be confined in a coffin or pit underground, sometimes sealed with soil or other heavy materials, with only his skill, timing, and endurance to rely on for survival. The stunt relied entirely on precision and physical control. Basnayake had trained extensively to escape from confined spaces and resist suffocation, but the risks were enormous. Any miscalculation in timing, construction of the coffin, or weight of the soil could have fatal consequences. Spectators were drawn to the tension, knowing that a single error could turn the performance into tragedy. During one performance in the 2000s and 10s, tragedy struck. Basnayake was buried as part of the act, but the weight of the soil and poor structural support caused the coffin to collapse. Rescue crews arrived quickly, but the delay was enough that he suffocated before he could be freed, shocking the audience and fellow performers alike. Number 1. Jeff Rayburn Hooper, the last escape. Jeff Rayburn Hooper was a modern-day escape artist known for performing extreme, death-defying stunts that pushed the limits of human endurance. Among his most daring acts was The Last Escape, a stunt designed to astonish audiences by placing him in highly dangerous, confined situations where every second counted. In this act, Hooper would be restrained in heavy chains, handcuffs, or submerged in tight enclosures, often with the added pressure of limited air or other life-threatening hazards. The trick relied entirely on his physical skill, mental focus, and meticulous planning, but even minor miscalculations could have fatal consequences. Spectators watched in tense anticipation, aware that the line between a successful escape and disaster was razor-thin. Tragically, during one performance, something went terribly wrong. Hooper became trapped in his restraints, and rescue efforts could not reach him in time. Despite the presence of safety crews, the stunt ended in disaster, and he lost his life during the act, leaving the audience in shock and disbelief. Jeff Rayburn Hooper's story stands as a stark reminder of the real dangers behind extreme magic and escape artistry. The last escape was intended to thrill and amaze, but it became his final act, proving that even the most skilled magicians cannot always escape the deadly risks of their craft. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these shocking stories of magicians whose acts turn deadly, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible and unbelievable true stories.